Let's react to some videos.
Yeah.
There's a video by where we got it. Oh, Mike Johnson. He's reading Jerry Nadler's own words back to him about defunding the police. So I believe Jerry Nadler's he's a politician from New York, and Mike Johnson is just kind of roasting him a little bit about like all the crime. Basically, it's kind of entertaining. So we're gonna watch this real quick. So here is Mike Johnson reading Jerry Nadler's own words to him about defunding the police.
These are your words. You said, quote, there should be substantial cuts to the police budget, unquote. So they cut $1 billion.
Yes, exactly. Reclaiming my time. Yes, that's exactly what I said. And what I meant was what I said a moment ago. They should cut substantial funds from the police to give it to mental health.
How did that work out? We just had a field hearing down there. It wasn't
It worked
pretty.
out very well. The United States.
It's crazy that off the rip, he's not even trying to deny it. He's saying, yeah, we did defund the police, and he's like proud of it as if it's a good thing.
Well, I think he understands that he looks a fool, so he's trying to just lean into it and trying to trick the, ignorant people into believing like, oh yeah, maybe we can defund the police and just like give that money, $1 billion to mental health. And then Mike Johnson just points out, well, oh, how's that going for you guys in New York?
The city of New York, the crime statistics tell us the city of New York is the safest large city in the United States in terms of crime.
Mr. Ranking Member, that is not what the witnesses presented in our field.
The safest large city in the entire United States?
I don't know if that's
New
true.
York City? Just common sense tells me no. I would say no.
I would have said that 5 years ago. Like, I don't know, it's popular. Like, even before COVID and all the craziness, like, I don't know, it just seems like a big city equals big crime in my head. Like, I feel like that's how that works.
Interesting.
The witnesses you presented in your field hearing were only able to testify as to individual experiences.
Well, they said it's the most fearful time ever to live in the city. It might have something to do with defunding the police.
Reclaiming my time. People who read the New York Post or the New York Daily News, which follow the tabloid tradition of it, if it bleeds, it leads, could get that impression. But the statistics are what I said.
Do you feel safe walking in New York City?
Yes, I do.
Do you?
I do.
That's not the sentiment of your constituents. There are many of them, I'll tell you that.
Well, it's the sentiment of a lot of them.
I love the line of questioning.
He's basically just saying, hey, you citizens who are afraid, don't be afraid.
I'm not afraid.
How dare you be afraid? Like,
I know the statistics and I'm not afraid, so you shouldn't be afraid. Interesting.
Can you define what misinformation is?
Congressman, misinformation is false information that is disseminated to...
Excellent. Who determines what is false?
Congressman, our focus...
Who determines what is false in your agency? If you're going to pull something off the internet and collude with a social media platform to make sure Americans don't see it, who determines what's false?
Congressman, we don't do that.
That's not true. That is not true. That is not what the court has found. This is not a Republican talking point. This is what the documents show. We've had people testify under oath that say, and you just defined the term, you're telling me that you don't know who determines what is false?
Congressman, what we do at CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, is identify the tactics that adverse nation states use to weaponize disinformation.
So he says, we don't deal with what is false. We just deal with countries that try to say false things. Disinformation. So he's using different words. He's going around and he's moving the goalpost every time. Oh, well, no, it's this word, not that word. The word that means the same exact thing.
Oh my gosh.
It's
But then you're gonna hear Mike Johnson ask like a similar question. So first he asks, "What is misinformation?" Now listen.
Okay, what is disinformation? What is disinformation?
Disinformation is inaccurate information.
Who determines what's inaccurate?
Okay, explain that. The circular reasoning.
Well, you can't when you're making it. When you're saying he asked what is disinformation, and he says inaccurate information. That's a circular. It means the word disinformation and inaccurate means the same thing. So you can't use the same meaning to explain the definition.
Doesn't
That's
make
not
any
how.
sense. It doesn't make.
That's not logical. That's not how you define words.
No.
So this guy is trying to get out of it, but I don't think he's gonna let him get out of it.
Who determines what's false? Do you understand the problem here? The reason the framers of our Constitution did not create an exception for quote unquote false information from the First Amendment is because they didn't trust the government to determine what it is. And you have whole committees of people in your agency trying to determine what they define as false or misinformation.
That is not true.
Well, then what is true?
What we
Please
do
enlighten us.
is what we do is we disclose the tactics that adverse nation states are utilizing to weaponize
No, sir.
information.
No, sir. The court found specifically, it's a finding of fact that is not disputed by the government defendants, the Biden administration, your agency, the FBI, or DHS, not in the litigation. They determined you and all of your cohorts made no distinction between domestic speech and foreign speech. So don't stand there and tell me under oath that you only focused on adversaries
He
around the
basically
world.
just lied under oath. Is basically what he
Yes,
said.
it's
He
what
basically
all
said,
these
because he
bureaucrats
said
do.
they only focused on foreign nations, which is not true because we know that they were censoring people in America who were questioning the election, or who were, even before the election, there's people on Twitter who were questioning. I think was it Newt Gingrich was questioning it. You had mentioned something about Newt Gingrich before.
Oh,
But,
that was about Matt Gaetz.
about Matt Gaetz. Okay,
Yeah.
that's something different. But anyways, there's people who knew things about the election before the election was even happening, that, hey, maybe we should look into these things, and they were censored on Twitter. And we know this now. Elon Musk on Joe Rogan podcast recently said that Republicans on Twitter during the election were censored 10 times that of Democrats.
That's insane.
10 times. Oh, but the election wasn't rigged, right?
No, of course not. Of course not. I mean, forget about like ballots and all that craziness, mail about like all that craziness, how they changed all the laws right before the election. Forget about that. The Hunter Biden laptop story alone
Was censored.
And I think there was a poll that said like a little bit over than 10%, I believe, at least 10% of
Enough to
Biden
change
voters, Biden voters would have voted differently, not for Trump necessarily, but voted differently if they
Yeah.
had known.
I mean, that poll was
about it
also
before the election.
was also done recently, so after Biden had been president for a year and a half, and they could see that Biden sucks as president.
No, that
So-
poll came out pretty quickly after.
No, I don't.
I think
I
it
don't
did.
think it was. Well, that's what the libs said, and I believed them. So I don't know, but either
check
way,
us.
regardless.
Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the comments below if you find that. We don't have a research person in the back like cool podcasters, so you're gonna have to do that for us.
We don't have the budget yet.
We don't have the budget.
But either way, either way, even if what you're saying is true or not true, it doesn't really matter because they were obviously censoring things based off of political party,
Yeah.
which obviously is going to have an impact on the election.
Mhm.
I mean, Twitter is the public square. Now,
It
it's
is.
where people talk about what they believe to be true, and it's where arguments get hashed out. That's the point of freedom of speech, is so that you can understand what bad arguments are.
Yeah, it's annoying. I hate the word like limit on Twitter because if it's the public square, you should be able to talk for as long as you want. Like I hate that there's a limit
Yeah.
to how many words you can say. Like I'm sure it's like it would be insane if because people just go off like put whole books on Twitter, and I'm sure that would be a little excessive for the software to handle or whatever. But that's a side note. The public square I think should be freer than that.
Maybe we
but
should. I think there might be an app, Public Square.
There probably is. Oh, but public square is an
It's a
app.
different thing.
Public Square is where you find like other not a sponsor. Love to
Public
please sponsor
Square?
us. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
We honestly need more businesses in New England. To
Oh
be
yeah,
on
so
Public
if you can
Square.
support businesses that are conservative.
Yeah, so
on Public
basically
Square.
you go on Public Square app and they'll tell you what businesses in your area are conservative or like are not like woke and insane. So you can go and support the businesses that align with your values. But
That's a side note, but check it out.
check it out. All right, we're gonna watch this video. Mike Johnson absolutely grills Attorney General Merrick Garland on the testimony from Hunter Biden whistleblowers. This is gonna be interesting.
Let me just get right to the chase. Has anyone from the White House provided direction at any time to you personally or to any senior officials at the DOJ regarding how the Hunter Biden investigation was to be carried out?
No.
Have you had personal contact with anyone
That's
at
okay.
FBI headquarters about the Hunter Biden
pretty certain.
investigation?
Oh, not so quick there.
I don't recollect the answer to that question, but the FBI works for
Ooh.
the Justice Department.
I just bumped the mic, but notice how he said, "I don't recollect the answer to that question." That's such a way to get out of perjury, to lying under oath. He knows the answer to that question. He 100% knows the answer. I don't recollect. It gets him
Because
out
if
of
you
it.
get called out on it later, you
Yeah,
can
he
be
can
like,
say,
"Oh,
well,
I just forgot."
Yeah, I didn't say anything.
I didn't say
just
no,
forgot.
definitely. I just forgot in the moment. Like I didn't say no.
Which is
Oh
like,
my God.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
we believe that.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You don't recollect You don't recollect whether you've talked with anybody at FBI headquarters about an investigation into the president's son?
I don't believe that I did. I promised the Senate when I came before it
believe
for
that I did.
confirmation that I would leave Mr. Weiss in place and that I would not interfere with his investigation.
Okay, did you ever-
I have kept that promise.
All right. Have you had personal contact with anybody at the Baltimore field office on the Hunter Biden matter?
No.
On July 10th, 2023, U.S. Attorney David Weiss told Senator Lindsey Graham, quote, I had discussions with departmental officials regarding potential appointment under 28 U.S.C. Section 515, which would have allowed me to file charges in a district outside my own without the partnership of the local U.S. attorney, end quote. With whom did Mr. Weiss have those discussions?
I'm not going to get into the internal deliberations of the department.
Oh, but you must, sir. This is important for us. We have oversight responsibility over your department, and we need these answers.
Yes,
What a
That's such
good
a good-
answer. What a good
Said
answer.
it better than we ever could.
Honestly, it's oh my gosh. He just Mike Johnson in a comment. He's a man of God. He is a man of principle. He
also-
doesn't lash out.
He's also a lawyer.
He's
which
also
you
a
can-
lawyer, so he's really good with words, and he's a litigator, and you know he's argued in front of the Louisiana Supreme Court, so he knows how to communicate with people. He knows how to use words properly. He's a shrewd politician. But man, it's just like he's embodying, he is channeling the rage of the American people, of the people who just want the government to leave them alone. And he's like, oh, but you must tell us because, oh, we're the Congress. So he's doing it in a passive aggressive way, but you can so clearly see like the frustration with Merrick Garland that Mike Johnson has.